Lawyers for Glazer's Beer and Beverage, who are the defendants in this case, filed that motion to dismiss the lawsuit back in the beginning of June. Now, they're the distributors of these Alani drinks. They distribute them to the HEBs here in Hidalgo County. The future of downtown McAllen has been up in the air for months now. Now, you may remember the situation that happened here. It's pretty similar to what we saw in the Brownsville Midtown Entertainment District just this last week. A few months ago, the city of McAllen really cracked down on bar owners. Progreso High School is mourning one of their own after that 17-year-old boy jumped into this canal. The Port of Brownsville officially runs 10 feet deeper. Officials say this goes far beyond just being an achievement in engineering. It marks a significant step for Brownsville's industrial future. Well, good news for those who are traveling out of the valley. Those long lines you just saw, they are nowhere to be found here at the McAllen Airport. Shrimping is often an uphill battle, and those rising fuel costs are certainly not making it any easier. Well, if you live in McAllen, you most likely saw signs about the bond throughout streets here in the city. Maybe you even went to a meeting at your child's school, or maybe you even got a knock on the door from the superintendent himself. Obviously, all those efforts paid off. So I spoke to one of those activists this afternoon who has been showing up to those meetings, and this was actually exactly the step he wanted to see taken. Eric, I am a born and raised Texas girl, but believe it or not, this is actually my first rodeo, and I was not the only one checking out this tradition for the first time. Take a listen. McAllen's Culture and Art Festival happening this weekend at the McAllen Convention Center. I'll bring you more details from Mixlon 2026 coming up in just a few moments.
Our Lauren Sierra is joining us live from outside of the El Valle Detention Center, where the eldest son of the Gomez-Cuellar family was being held up until his release just this afternoon.
Lauren, you spoke to some of the people who know the Gomez-Cuellars very well. Their mariachi group.
A really emotional day out here in Raymondville. What started as a couple members of the McAllen High School Mariachi Oro community coming out here to protest Antonio's detention ended up with them being able to witness his release.
Brother, you know, mariachi's one big family.
A musical family missing two vital members after the Gomez-Cuellar family of McAllen, who came to the United States on asylum, were detained by ICE. The eldest brother and state-renowned trumpet player Antonio was held separate from the rest of his family at El Valle Detention Center in Raymondville. That's where fellow trumpet player Dante Rojas and his parents waved an American flag outside on Monday morning to show their support for Antonio and his family.
It's sad, honestly, for them to come to an appointment and just take him away. It's pretty sad.
But just a few hours into the protest, word spread that Antonio would be released. His mariachi director and assistant director breaking down in tears when they heard the news.
Pure happiness, you know, I can only imagine how tough it's been for him without his family all of these days.
Dante and his directors waving to Antonio as he was driven away from the facility.
I was supposed to see him yesterday, but they didn't allow visits, so just this anticipation of seeing him, it just, you know, it brought me to tears.
Their mariachi family on the way to becoming whole once more.
Music is a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful art. This is what we love to do, and this unites our students. This gives them something to wake up in the morning to go to school and continue their education.
Now, Mariachi Oro director Alex Trevino tells me that music is such an important part of this family's lives that he knows it must have been incredibly hard on them to not even have access to their instruments and to be away from that while they were in this facility. And he says that he knows the boys will be eager to get back to rehearsals and that Mariachi Oro will be waiting for them with open arms when they are ready. Reporting live in Raymondville, I'm Lauren Sierra.
1 month from today, the Food Truck Freedom Act will go into effect across the state of Texas, creating a statewide permit for food truck vendors through the Department of State Health Services instead of individual city and county based on permitting system now placed right now. And as applications for the statewide permit went live today, our Lauren Sierra spoke with local food truck owners to get their thoughts on this change.
School may be out for the summer, but the coffee buzz is in session. While the school bus turned coffee cart stays parked on South 10th Street and Lindbergh Avenue most days, they do travel to serve up their drinks at events across the Rio Grande Valley.
If we are going to go to Edinburgh, if we're going to go, let's say, to Brownsville, we need to get a permit, a health inspection, everything particular for that city, for that community.
Because of Texas's Food Truck Freedom Act, they won't have to do that anymore.
Moving forward, mobile food vendors will only need one license to operate throughout the whole state. Effective July 1st, mobile food vendors will now be permitted and licensed through the Texas Department of State Health Services.
Now, there are lots of food trucks that set up shop in food truck parks like this one here in McAllen and rarely, if ever, hit the road. Now, they'll still need to get that statewide permit even if they're just sticking to one city, and for some, that could come as a financial hit. Hidalgo County previously had a flat rate fee for permitting and inspections. The new rules filed by the Texas Department of State Health Services says fees will now be based on a category system.
For someone like me that moves around a lot with a truck, it's awesome. But I don't see it fair for someone who's going to stay in McAllen, who's used to paying, let's say, $300 a year, now to pay $1,000 for a permit that they're not going to use, all out.
Jerry Leal is the owner of Pineapple Ninjas, which became South Padre Island's first fully permitted food truck back in 2018. He's also part of an organization that rents out food trucks throughout the state and has become very familiar with permitting.
A lot of it depends on environmentally the location, obviously, of the city. You can't hold a city like South Padre Island to the same standards of Austin. The space is different, same as, let's say, Peñitas. In Peñitas, everybody has an extra space. You can park your food truck at home, so certain rules don't apply across the board.
He's not completely sold on the statewide system yet. There's
still a lot of gray area around how it's going to come into play with the cities to keep the flow going and not interrupt business for current food truckers.
For now, Coffee Buzz plans to take full advantage.
If there's a festival, you don't have to get a whole other permit or a whole other food inspection. It's kind of already there for you. So I do think there might be a little bit more competition now, but more than anything, I think it'll give us more freedom.
Reporting in McAllen, I'm Lauren Sierra.
And as for inspections for food trucks, the Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department says that they are working on financing a deal so they can subcontract with the state so they can do their very own vendor inspections in the county. It's also important to note that not all local permits will become invalid on July 1st, no matter the expiration date.